Welcome to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. You've landed in the right place to learn how to own your story, release subconscious beliefs, rewire your mind, and step into the impact you know you're here to create. Through Outspoken publishing and NLP certifications, we share the tools and subconscious shifts that expand your voice, your message, your confidence, and your leadership. I am your host, Marsha Van Weinsberg, NLP trainer, speaker, author, and publisher. I am thrilled you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to the show. I have a little bit of a funny share that I want to share with you because I do believe that it is going to speak to someone. So, we recently passed 1,000 episodes, which I am really, really proud about. And I wanted to share this piece that your vision isn't going to make sense to a lot of people. It's just not. I was at an event recently where somebody said to me, do you know the number of people that like the actual shows that have made it to 1,000? I'm like, no clue. She's like, okay, well, let's look it up. So we actually looked it up. And did you know there's over 4.3 million podcasts worldwide? And here's the big one. Oh my God, 90% of podcasts stop before episode 20. Like 90%. So only 10% continue past number 20. Nearly half stop only after a couple of episodes. Because of that, it's like reaching 100 episodes is rare, 500 episodes is very rare, and 1,000 episodes is considered elite consistency territory. That, like I said, touch crazy. Here's the piece that I really wanted to share. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. Do I know exactly what everything is going to unfold or how it's going to unfold or I don't know. But I will continue because I love it. It doesn't have to make sense to other people. I often share when I was in my lowest points of my journey, I actually podcasts were it. So 12 years ago, podcasts, YouTube videos, and books. That was it. I didn't have anything else to use. This is the work that helped me in some really low points. And for me, I've made a promise to myself that I will always have some kind of free resource. Like when somebody says to me, I want to coach with you, but I can't afford it right now. I completely respect that. And they're like, where do I start? I'm like, there's 1,000 episodes. You can start anywhere. I love having free resources for people. And so it's important to me. Because it's important to me doesn't mean it's going to be important to everyone else. And in fact, because it's not important to everyone else, they're not going to understand why I do it. And I actually don't have to explain it. I'm going to share it this way because I want to. It's that simple. Like, yes, I'm a bit of an Aries and a fire because I want to. And I like doing it. And there is nothing that has helped my voice more than this podcast in consistency and my message and getting it out there. I mean, it's really kind of funny that my NLP coaching certification is called Outspoken because I really believe in the power of the voice and being able to share the work that we're doing. So it was so interesting. Like it sparked a conversation where a few people were like, but for what? Like, why? And I'm like, because I want to. What was my answer? Seriously, I'm at this beautiful networking thing. I'm like, because I want to. And it's like, for what purpose? I'm like, because I want to. Like, it can be that simple. I just need you to know that no one else has to understand it and no one else has to get it. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I've put a verbal diary out into the world. And again, that's not for everyone, but I like it. Sometimes I go back and it's like, wow, come a long ways. So not everybody has to understand it. They don't. And then all of a sudden somebody said, do you know how long it's going to take me to get to 1,000? I'm like, what does that matter? Like, do you want to go to 1,000? I didn't even know we were going to go to 1,000. Like I said, I shared it in the 1,000th episode. If you haven't listened to it, it was for me around the 550 mark that I was like, I'm getting into a rhythm and I'm liking this. We received a pitch from Kute Blackson. And for me, Kute Blackson was my first personal development book that I read. So just imagine being pitched by the very first personal development book that you read, like the author. That was like, okay, something is happening here. And when I had that first conversation with Paul Hutchison from The Sound of Freedom that I got to have twice now, it was the same thing. I was like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're here talking about difficult topics. And every time we get to have that conversation, it lights me up even more, even more. And all the way up. We just recently had Anton Gross on, who's an 85-year-old man sharing the journey of, letters to dying friends and, higher consciousness and what that looks like. I love the kinds of conversations that I get to have. These people, these stories have impacted me more than I think I can ever realize. And a big piece of what I want to do is continue with this legacy of let's talk about the stories that people don't want to talk about. And that has spilled into all things NLP Outspoken, into Outspoken Publishing. That's what it's done. And I am honestly really freaking proud of that. So I just wanted to share that it's okay if no one else gets your vision, because that person who has a lot of questions and maybe doesn't get it, like, that's not your person, and that's okay. And then all of a sudden it might be people that you don't know very well that are like, thank you for sharing that. So trust yourself. I'm not saying you're not ever allowed to pivot, but trust yourself. If you feel called to do it, do it. Literally do it and keep doing it. Can you be consistent to match the version of you that is out there putting this work out into the world? Honestly, like, it's just keep following it. Yes, I'm consistent. Yes, I care about what I'm doing. And I promise you, I am not doing it because I feel like I have to. I'm an Aries. I don't do things like like the opposite of the rule follower. So if I love it and it's lighting me up and I feel like it's hitting a purpose and a legacy, I'll continue. So it was pretty funny. And I just wanted to share it. And I said, look, with so much love. I'm like, because I want to. It's just that simple. And she's like, so it's that simple. I'm like, sure is. If I want to, I'm going to. If I don't, I won't. And I invite you to continue to be consistent in what you're doing long enough to find that fire of like, what do I want? That means there's a lot of things that I did in the past that I don't do anymore. We're redoing our entire website for marshavanw.com. We did the Outspoken Publishing, and it is funny, almost funny, because when they look at it, my team is laughing, going, do you have any idea how many programs and masterclasses are here that you don't even run anymore? And I'm like, yep, I didn't want to anymore. Like, I know what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm in a lane where it's like, I understand how it's all unfolding. And you know how you get there? Consistency and checking in often and regularly and understanding what you're here to do. That's why, like, there are times I might pivot in something because I check in and it's like, that doesn't feel good anymore. And if it doesn't feel good anymore, it doesn't mean I don't want to do it. It just, I know it doesn't feel good right now. Last year in 2025, I actually shut down one of my regular programs called Write Your Damn Book Mastermind. It was a 1-year mastermind. I sat with it. I probably sat even longer than I should have, to be honest, because I didn't want to let anyone down. And in the process, I knew I wanted to turn it into a digital program that would be able to support people in writing the book from the beginning to the end. So it took a lot in me to shut it down. And that means, like, there was a revenue source gone. It was like, you can't make the decision strictly only because of money. And we turned it into a digital program that we ran live in the earlier of this year. And now you can access that program. And there's one person in that program specifically who is using the entire digital program as a test to show that you can write your book on your own if you want. If you want to write your book and you want support, that's what we do. So it's like a beautiful piece, but I'll tell you, not everybody understood it and not everybody agreed. And I also know that I couldn't even actually explain why. I just knew it was time. Like, I knew it was time. And so when you check in often, you'll find, like, yes, this lights me up. No, this doesn't anymore. So for now, I think that, well, I know there's nothing in my business that has been more consistent than this podcast that is a free resource for everyone. And I know that not everybody understands that, and that's okay. That's completely okay. So I just want to give you that kind of reminder that it's, whatever you feel called to do, stick with it and be in that space. Yeah, one stat says that, far less than 1% ever make it to this point of 1,000 episodes. And I'm really, really proud of that. That has been a, machine that we have been building out nonstop. And I have like big visions of what I'd love to do with it. So we'll see where it goes. But for now, just take this simple episode as your reminder that what you choose to do doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It has to make sense to you. At the end of the day, please check in with yourself that you love what you're doing, that you feel lit up by it, that, it's challenging you to grow in beautiful ways. Ideally, that it gets to help other people along the process, because I think we're all built that we can do that, and continue and be quite okay if not everyone gets it, because they're not meant to. For me, I'm beyond, beyond, beyond grateful that you are here, that you listen to the episodes, that you share it, that we get to have these conversations, because they mean the world to me. And I know we are just getting started. I hope you have an incredible day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Own Your Choices, Own Your Life. I invite you to tag me on social media with your takeaways or share it with a friend. If you feel called, please leave a 5-star review and I would be forever grateful. Until next time, remember, when you own your choices, you own your life.